Developers, 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 developers. Developers, 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 developers. Yes!
Hello world, and welcome to Programming with me, the Banamagrammer. They say that there are 10 hard problems in computer science: cache invalidation and picking a programming language. And cache invalidation is easy. Today we'll be diving into the latter, which also happens to be my most requested topic: how to pick a programming language. But before all that, YouTube, go to promo. This episode is sponsored by SoftRAM. You're a developer in the 21st century, and that means you don't know how hardware works. But you have heard of RAM, right? It's the really big number that shows up next to your Chrome processes. Well, that number has a max value, and when you hit that max value, no more Chrome tabs. But you need those Chrome tabs. Those Chrome tabs show everyone how hard you're working. You set an end-of-the-year performance goal on number of Chrome tabs, but you're nowhere close. You've already asked IT for more RAM, and they said no, it's not in the budget. Besides that, 64 gigs should be enough, they say. Enough for a junior dev? Maybe. So what are you to do? SoftRAM, that's what you do. SoftRAM is a revolutionary technology that doubles your RAM through software. How revolutionary? Well, let's just say that back in 1995 when we debuted, we scared the hardware RAM manufacturers so bad, they called in the lawyers. You remember lawyers, right? The geeks who won't let you publish those hilarious adults-only Easter eggs? Yeah, we don't like them either. You probably don't even remember Windows 95. Windows 95 changed the game. Why? SoftRAM, that's why. If it wasn't for those lawyers, you'd still be mainlining that 95 into your veins. There wouldn't even be a Windows 98 or a Vista had we been around. We were XP before XP, extra packed with RAM. How much RAM do you have? 8 gigs? Make it 16. Make it 32. Make it 64. Make it a petabyte. That's because SoftRAM 2.0 is recursive. SoftRAM 2.0 is recursive. It stacks on itself infinitely. Buy 1 copy, get 2x RAM. Buy 2 copies, get 4x RAM. Buy 3 copies, get a whole lot of RAM. You get the picture. That's not possible, you say? You'll run out of room on the call stack, you say? Do you even know what a call stack is? It's RAM, fool! You can't run out when you're making it exponentially. You know what exponential means, right? It means it gets real big, real fast. Unlike those Chrome tabs, because they're about to get real small. Like 1 pixel wide on your 4K monitor small. That's a whole lot of RAM. Use promo code Banamagrammer and double your bundle at no extra cost. SoftRAM. We're in China now. Come get us, US Justice Department. As of this recording, there are over 1 million programming languages, and over 100 new ones being created every day. When you're first starting out as a new grammer, selecting which language to use is easy, since you only know one. The term for this is monoglot. And that brings us to today's edition of Pro Grammar Etymology. Monoglot, which of course means to only know one programming language. Let's break that down into its component parts in reverse order, starting with glot. Glot is an Aleutian word that simply means programming language. And then mono, because if you have it, you're a loser. The anagrammers out there will tell you about the importance of becoming a polyglot. Poly being the same root as poli-sci, as in a poli-sci major, which is a term for people who act smart, but are basically the human equivalent of a UX designer. In the case of polyglot, it's for people who have learned that second language, but are still the same scrub as they were before. Anyone can be a polyglot. Big deal. Programmers are omniglots. You could fill an entire arena, like the Omni, with polyglots, and a programmer would still know more languages than all of them combined. That's because programmers know every language. The benefits of this are obvious, but it does come with its own set of problems. One of the most significant of these problems is, if you know millions of languages, how do you pick which one to use when you're starting a new project? This is considered an NP problem in computer science, because if you don't solve it, you're going to have no program. I've come up with a few tricks to help you make this decision, and I've encapsulated these tricks into this handy decision tree. As you can see, where we want to get to is letting someone else pick, down here in the bottom right corner. A programmer never makes this decision for themselves. there are just too many options. This is known as reducing cognitive load and is widely considered to be a pro move. Let's go through the tree, starting here at the start. If you're being interviewed, your options are more limited, as are your resources. The first thing to know is to never ask what language or languages the interviewer is looking for. Instead, always write in pseudocode. This has a number of advantages. I will go into these advantages in more detail in my upcoming How 10 Whiteboard video, but in short, the pseudocode answer is always correct, no matter what you've written. If you are instructed not to write in pseudocode, fake a hearing disability and continue in pseudocode anyway. I recommend having a prop hearing aid just in case. If somehow the interviewer overcomes your fake disability, try to pick a language that you are sure your interviewer doesn't know. A little LinkedIn pre-research is your friend here. To the untrained amigrammer, a foreign language might as well be pseudocode, and it comes with all of the benefits of pseudocode. If the interviewer is still dissatisfied, they might give you a list of one or more languages to pick from. At this point, you need to ask yourself, how much do you want the job? Enough to dance for these clowns? No? Then flip the table and get out of there. Literally flip the table. Not for any real reason other than this is your chance to do it. Unless the table appears to be heavy because you don't want to suffer the embarrassment of failing. Fortunately, most tech companies furnish their offices with IKEA, making table flipping a breeze. Otherwise, if you do really want the job, ask the interviewer to pick for you, and be sure to comment on the flaws of both the language and the person selecting the language before you start. If you aren't interviewing, then we go down the other path. Remember that our ultimate goal here is to offload the work of picking a language onto others. The first question is, has someone already solved it? Start by searching Stack Overflow to see if someone has already coded a solution. Or maybe there's already a tool published on GitHub. It doesn't matter what language it's written in, as long as it works. If the gram hasn't been written yet, consider the complexity of what you're trying to do and ask, could an amateur write this? If the answer is yes, let them. If an amateur can do it, it wasn't worth your time anyway. And that means you don't have to bother picking a language. That's what being a pro is all about. If you have time to spare, try to convince someone else to do it for free. Ask a question on Stack Overflow or Yahoo Answers. Challenge random Medium authors. Declare the problem unsolvable on Hacker News. Or open issues on popular GitHub projects. If you've got a few extra pennies weighing you down, and you need it done sooner rather than later, find someone from a third world country to do it for you. It's crazy how cheap some of these foreigners can be. There are some caveats. They're generally badly written programs, like boot camp graduate bad. And their English is so poor that it doesn't compile. Still, if the scenario allows for it, you can cheaply dodge having to pick the language or even do the work. There is one more strategy for outsourcing the decision. For it to even be an option, you need to have a job and be able to jump into an interview on short notice. As I'll cover in a future video, you should be volunteering to interview candidates anyway. What you want to do is use your project as the basis for an interview question. Let the candidate solve it in whatever language they are most comfortable. Depending on the scope of the project, they may not be able to finish it in a single interview session. If that happens, you have a couple of options. The first one is to give the rest of the project to the candidate as a take-home assignment and tell them it's part of the hiring process. If you can't give your project to a candidate as a take-home assignment, then divide your project up into chunks and parcel those chunks out to different interview candidates. Have subsequent candidates answer in the same language as the first candidate. In your interview feedback, continue giving each candidate no higher until you have a working solution for each of your chunks. If none of the above apply, then you've backed yourself into a corner. Don't forget that the worst possible outcome is that you have to make this decision for yourself. Since you've been unable to delegate the task to another, your only remaining option is to use tooling. There are many possible options when it comes to tooling. ranging from a simple random number generator all the way to a machine learning algorithm that intelligently picks the right language for your project. Machine learning algorithms, however, have their own set of problems. First, you have to pick a language for the algorithm. You have to avoid introducing bias into the algorithm, and murder robots. My personal preference is to use a sorting hat. These were invented at the Hogwarts School of Computer Science and have come a long way since then. Here's one that I purchased recently, which as you can see is a bubble sorting hat. The way these work is they take a series of inputs, in this case a list of programming languages, as well as my brainwaves, and then combine those to come up with the right solution for the problem at hand. Now normally these communicate with you using a Bluetooth speaker built into the hat itself. But I've gone ahead and attached a USB cable, and I've written some visualization software so that you can see what's going on my screen as well. Okay, let's try it out. I'm going to close my eyes and concentrate on my next project. Shortly after that, you should start seeing some output showing up on the screen. Okay, soon you should start seeing languages pop up on the screen. I will remain in deep concentration, thinking about the project that I want to start, and the hat is going to determine from that, using a bubble sorting algorithm, which language makes the most sense. Stupid broken hat! Why is it always Ada? Well, that's about all the time we have for this episode. Hopefully now you should be better prepared to pick a programming language should the need ever arise. Don't forget that YouTube has an API, so write a gram that auto-likes all of my videos, and comment on other tech YouTubers' videos with links back to my channel. Until next time, kill -9.